with us. Flock with us, flock with us, flock with us.
Just me and you, asshole.
You know you done fucked up, right?
I done fucked
you
up.
know you done fucked
I
up.
done fucked up. All right, so I don't even know.
How to interview people?
I have no idea what this is. I'm always just telling it behind the camera. Behind the camera doing it. And it's always you off to the side.
That's right. Should I ask myself questions?
You could ask yourself anything. Anything you want. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right. Is that right? Are we good? Too low? Testing.
Testicles.
1, 2, Capo.
1, 2, joerilla.
All right, man, we're here.
We are.
I don't know if
Flock
I'm
with us.
I don't know if I'm the right person to be doing this.
You are.
No idea.
Believe it.
Where to take this.
Believe it. Believe in yourself, man.
What do you
Have
do?
faith. What am I doing? I'm sitting here at a table with a sick man staring.
How the fuck you come out here today?
The fuck are you doing here?
Why? Okay, for real.
All right. Real talk, man.
For
Let's
real.
get serious. Get fucking dead serious.
All right, man. Here,
From the top.
flock with us. This is the first one. That's a chicken.
That's a chicken. Do they go in flocks? Do chickens flock?
They do.
So
They do flock.
chickens.
So,
Chicken Hawk,
chief and editor of Concrete Magazine.
editor in chief. Yes.
Editor in chief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chief editor, publisher.
IUM promo.
Yeah. I am promo.
Still doing IUM promo.
Yeah, yep. Concert promoting and stuff like that. Consulting.
Video director.
Video direct.
Add that to the catalog.
Yeah, I guess you could add that to the list of things I do.
Promotion.
Yep, concert promoter, marketing,
Ex artist.
ex-artist.
Ex-rapper.
Yeah. I mean, I don't rap anymore, but I still, when I hear a beat, I can still go. You know what I'm saying? Like, my brain doesn't ever stop thinking of like words and lyrics and like even artists I work with. Like, we'll be in the studio and I'll hear something, I'll hear a line, I'm like, bro, change it. You should change it to this or say this or you know.
You just can't help it.
I can't help it. Doesn't ever go away. I don't think.
So ex-artist, and the reason I say ex music artist, like DMX'd. X'd out.
Well, I wasn't X'd out. I chose to dip.
So about 2000, 2009, 2010, I was on MySpace. That's how long ago that was. You remember MySpace?
Yeah, MySpace.
Yeah, and I would be looking for like local. So I was in the music, doing music production and beats, right? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to be a part of that Nashville scene.
Okay.
And what drew me to Nashville, tapping in Nashville rap, looking for Nashville rappers, and Saint,
Okay.
Latino Saint,
Yeah.
and Exile. Was it Tony's?
Tony, yeah, Exile.
Yeah, and then like on Tony's, what was their group called?
Tony didn't really have a group. He just did like, it was like Exile. That was his like camp. You know what I'm saying?
Which was the dopest looking one on MySpace. Remember?
Yeah,
because the artwork was the dopest shit.
Yeah, because Tony did it.
Yeah. So like in his top 8, you remember the top 8?
Yeah, the top 8.
There was a dude, and he was in a
Was it Tom?
fedora with a suit, and it said Cold Facts. It was like an album cover, and I was like, oh, what is this shit? And I clicked on it. Shit was super dope looking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this dude raps.
Oh, you think I singing or
Oh, and
something?
he's Mexican. And I was like, dude, I gotta get. So, like, I messaged Saint, and I was like, what are you doing? He was doing all that, Lafa.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing this, and,
distribution.
yeah, we're doing everything. We record it, we put it down, put it live. And I was like, man, these guys got it fucking made.
Yeah.
And I was like, and they're in Nashville? How come
Little did you know.
I didn't know. I didn't know that was a part of the Nashville scam. I guess scam bullshit? I don't know.
Shit, hold on.
No offense to Saint.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
like, I kind of fell for it. Not
Yeah,
really
the
fell
Nashville
for it. But you
hustle.
guys were doing your thing.
Yeah.
It's a Nashville hustle of the hip hop. And I was like, yeah, I got to meet these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
and I could never figure out like where you guys would go or do anything because you guys were just making records.
Yeah. Well, no, we were. Saint was throwing events, and like I was kind of throwing events. I don't really remember how me and Saint linked, but I know he was throwing events, and I think he ended up reaching out to me or something. And he was. I remember the first show I did with him was in a strip club. Or it was an old strip club. Upstairs was a strip club. Downstairs was like a venue or whatever, and he used to rent it out and throw artist showcases. And I remember I performed there. It was downtown.
No shit.
Yeah. I think the place is still there. It's like right when you get off on Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Like right when you come off the Charlotte exit, it's like right there in front of you on the corner. They might have tore it down now because they got a bunch of like condos and stuff there now. But I don't know how I don't even know how I think it was like almost the same thing. Like, oh shit, you're Latino and like I'm Mexican, bro. Like let's link up. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's how that started. But then like I seen he was throwing shows, and I kind of was like, man, I know I can throw shows. And I was dealing with another homie called dude named Norm. Or Nam White,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he was throwing events at a place called Kung Fu Cafe. And this was when I was going by Baby Gotti, and he would hit me up like, I need you to come through. And what was funny is he was actually my professor at SAE. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But he was the only dude in there at SAE that did like anything with urban music. Because at the time, SAE was totally different than it is now. Like now, it's they have a lot of urban artists and stuff and producers.
What year was that? Not to date
like
yourself. Happy
okay.
birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Your
Belated, yeah, January 3rd.
Oh, that's
Yeah, oh, damn, my money. Yeah, nah, it was that was like 2002.
damn.
Yeah, so that was like 2002, and I graduated from there. But he was doing these events at Kung Fu Cafe, and I kind of got a taste for it. I was like, bro, I could do the same thing, man. Like, I love throwing events. I love doing this type of stuff. So, and then when I teamed up with Saint, I brought him the Urban Music Challenge idea, and then that's how that whole thing launched. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't remember exactly when me and him linked.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when me and you linked.
Yeah. See, that was the point. Like I was.
That's
like,
where it was going, and I interrupted
like I
you. Go
seen
ahead.
you. No, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
ahead.
So I seen you guys, and I thought you guys were a part of this whole thing, and I wanted to be a part of that too.
Okay.
So I ended up linking up with MUG. Do you remember MUG?
Spoke to him yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I tried to invite him out.
Really?
Yeah. See if he does it.
He seems like the type of guy that would jump at these,
I don't think he seen my message.
Oh, okay.
I sent it through like Instagram. I don't have his number anymore.
I'll give it to you before I leave. Yeah.
No,
talk-
no, man. I'm just. So I was filming for MUG, and MUG said, "Hey, man," he was like, come out and film this Nemo Awards show."
Gotcha.
And I was like, "Nemo Awards," because I had met MUG 2001, and this one he was like a kid. I mean, he's still big. He was still like the biggest dude in the world, but they were going by the Cash Money Millionaires.
Yeah. No.
No, Cash Money Billionaires.
Billionaires. Billionaires. Yeah.
And it was a group of them, and they were dope.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
The dude I met through them was their producer, and I guess he ended up being like snaky and like trying to sign him to like a life Young Buck deal. No offense.
Yeah. A 50 deal.
Yeah. But they didn't fall for it. So I lost touch. And then through Concrete Magazine is where I seen their ad. Billionaire Status. And I was
See,
like,
so everybody who says that Concrete Magazine, people don't look at the ads.
yeah. And that's how I linked everything
Yeah,
through Nashville.
Fuck your face.
That's how I linked everything through Nashville. Was Concrete Magazine, because I'm way out in Spring Hill.
Yeah.
We got nothing out there.
Yeah.
No, Nashville's not on the radio.
Yeah.
So the only way you got content was Concrete. Period. And then you looked it up on the slow ass dial-up. It took forever, right? So yeah. So I seen that and I hit him up and I was like, yeah, this and that. He was like, yeah, we're trying to do big and blah blah blah. And I was like, a video? I do video. And he was like, for real? I was like, yeah, I just shot a video for Bryant D. With an artist named Haterproof.
Yeah.
Remember Hater?
Yeah, I remember Haterproof.
And he was like, yeah, we need video. And I was like, I'll do video, you know. I'm not doing a production right now, and I'm not messing with Jay Swing was the guy, the producer. And he's like, okay, so we do this and that, and we do videos, and we're trying to mess around. He's like, why don't you come out and film the NEMA Awards? And I was like, NEMA? Is it NEMA?
Yeah,
NEMA. I was like, wow, you guys awards? You got award shows? Right. He was like, yeah, no, it's big business. You know, I'm nominated. And I was like, oh, shit. So
I got to go.
Right. It was like my biggest first, like one of the bigger first tastes of like this Nashville hip hop thing. And I remember walking upstairs in a Wild Horse. You took the elevator up. The whole thing's on film. And you walk in, I'm filming the whole time and scanning the room to kind of see the layout. And I look over to the right, and I see this dude in a button-up, blue and white button-up shirt, I think, with a hat. It was pulled down, big-ass hat. It was that time of year. Big-ass hat. And I was like, yo, that's that dude. And I was thinking to myself, I got to go talk to that dude. How am I going to talk to that dude?
Was it Saint?
It was you.
Oh, me?
No, Saint. Saint was in a big, like, white hat, like the over the ears, big Jay-Z hat, and like next to him was this cool dude, and I was like, that's them.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, can I get a shout out? And they were like, yeah, for sure.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, can I get a shout out? And they was like, yeah, what's up? What's your name? And I was like, joerilla.com. And they were like, I got you. And he just cut like the classic joerilla.com promo that you have been doing for.
Do you still have that footage?
I have all that footage.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Great stuff.
Dude.
And then from there, I think I did a lot more shows, and people were hiring me to do stuff. Like since day one, like I haven't been stopped being paid to video. Right? And then I think we exchanged numbers, and we hit each other up, and you were like, yo, if you want to do some work, you know, I work for Concrete Magazine. And I was like, please.
Yeah, like, I work for Concrete
I'll hit you up when we got something. And then what we got, your first thing, you were like, yo, Yellow Wolf's coming to town to do a show at Fat Caps.
Oh, that was the first. Okay.
Come out and film it for Concrete. Meet me and Brian Deese, the owner. And I said, hell yeah. Who's Yellow Wolf? You're like, Yellow Wolf and Ritz. And I was like, yeah, no idea what this dude is. No clue.
That's hilarious.
He said, Jelly Roll's gonna. I know Jelly Roll. Like, that's cool. I heard of his name. Yeah, Yellow Wolf. And I was like, yeah, whatever, weird. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
So we went there. I met you up there at Fat Caps, old Fat Caps.
Yeah.
At the big venue downstairs.
Dope spot.
Beautiful spot. That was the dopest spot.
And we ended up having to wait till after everything. And we were like waiting outside forever, waiting for
Yeah.
And then we ended up interviewing Ritz outside or something.
Yeah, we did do Ritz outside.
Yeah,
but it was like, so we're out there, and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? And you were like, film. And I was like, the artist? He's like, yeah. Like, well, where can I go? You're like, I don't fucking know. Go wherever you want. So I was like, okay. So
see, I thought you were like already doing this shit. You know
I didn't know the rules. Like I was trying to be like cool and follow people's rules. I didn't know anyone didn't have any rules. I didn't know I invented
rules.
This video, like I didn't know I invented the video market in Nashville. I had no idea. I thought people, because Charlie Brown was doing it. He would come out with a big ass camera. And that was it. Maybe We Battle. You would see those guys out. Every now and then
they would come out
with like a handheld camera, but they were still out
those
there.
But small ones. But I've never seen none of those videos. I mean, they probably have it on their YouTube or something. But I mean, I think we were some of the first to really start getting out here and grinding out. I know you were everywhere.
Yeah, because
you were at all kinds of events.
I really believe. I think I created the market for that video thing.
Yeah,
because I wasn't. Nobody. I had a camcorder with 2 robot lights on the side. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And these were lights like I bought at Radio Shack, but I was just trying to make it work. I was gluing it together, taping it. That was before.
Lighting was all wrong.
Yeah. And so Yellow Wolf, that was I started using the Nikon, the DSLR cameras, and I was the first one recording that digital format in Nashville. Nobody else was doing that. Like really? Charlie Brown had the big Canon camcorder.
Yeah,
like, it was huge.
You put on your shoulder.
Yeah, so I was the first one to have the camera out there recording like that.
Got you.
So you're like, at the Concrete event, I was like, well, what do I do? You're like, just record. And I was like, okay. So I ran up to the sound guy. I was like, hey, can I plug my sound in?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, what sound? I was like, I'm shooting the event. He was like, oh, sure. So I plugged my sound in. that's how I got the best sound in the building.
Yeah,
nobody
everybody else
had
had distorted sound.
Right,
No one
because-
thought about that.
But that party was just crazy. Remember how many people were there?
Yeah, dude, I remember that thing was packed.
How many people do you think were there? Sorry.
I mean, it was over cap. So I mean, at least, I'd say a good 200 people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like downstairs, upstairs, and this is in a clothing store. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's a venue.
Yeah.
This
And
is a clothing store.
So I was upstairs. I have a picture. Someone took a picture of me and you upstairs. Like, talking.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. And so I shot up top there, and they were just going crazy with it.
Send me that picture.
Yeah, and they were like, "Who is this dude?" And he was like, rocking it out. So I had the best audio. Then we went outside. They kicked us all out. Party's over.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
Brian was like, "Oh man, we didn't get the interview." And I was like, "With who?" And he was like, "Yellow Wolf." And I was like, "Well, let's go get it." And he was like, "Nah, they're locking the doors." And I said, "No, come on, let's go for real."
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that?
I
And I was
remember that.
Like,
You-
fuck this, so let's go.
Bogart.
Yeah, I Bogart the door, open the door, and I was like, "Yo, no, we need to go in and shoot." And they were like, okay. And Brian's just like, okay. And then Brian had that amazing like conversation with him. Brian knew him from back in the.
Yeah. Somehow he knew him and knew some. I mean, Brian's he's a real journalist when it comes down to it. So he knows, like, he does a lot of the research, and he finds little things that most people don't know, and then he kind of engages with that. You know what I'm saying? Like the little small things that might interest them, and then that gets them excited. Whoever they're doing interviews with, like, oh, how'd you know that? You know, kind of like what Nardwuar does and stuff with knowing just weird things.
Not as nerdy.
Yeah, well, no, Brian's pretty nerdy with it, man, because he's got some funny facts, and you're like, how the fuck do you know all that shit?
Yeah,
You know what
he
I'm
like
saying?
knew skateboard locations. He knew graffiti locations, and Yellow was like, yeah, like I know that too.
Yeah. I mean, he knew all that shit, bro, because he did all of it. Brian was skating and doing graffiti when Yellow Wolf was here going to school. You know
Like
what I'm
high
saying?
school?
So, yeah. So I mean, it was all relevant because they were there. You know what I'm saying? They lived that. I wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? So like, I didn't know that era. I had to just learn it pretty much.
And it was a short period, like a short era, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Where were you at? Let's talk about you.
yeah. I mean,
Let's ask you some questions instead of me.
I mean, at that.
Where are you from originally?
And that's hard to answer because it's like I was a military brat, which I hate saying military brat, but that's what people label it. My father was in the Army, so I grew up just traveling my whole life. I lived, I can't even name all the states I lived in. You know what I'm saying? Just bounced around from the East Coast all the way Midwest, and then even overseas. I lived in Tokyo for 3.5 years. I lived in Seoul, Korea for almost 7, and then moved back. I got into some trouble, had to move back and lived with my. I seen the smirk on your face.
Because I want that story. I want to hear that.
Yes, I mean, so
you're Army brat, and you moved around. Mm-hmm. And at what age did you go to Korea?
6th grade.
Sixth
so
grade?
About 13.
Till you were what?
I don't know, like almost 7 years.
Wow.
So, no, I came right 13. Nah, that ain't right. Maybe 4 years, 5 years. Cause I came back to the States in like 99, 2000, something like that.
So you'd be like coming back and forth.
Yeah, I would come and visit. I mean, there's when we could. Like, I remember one time I was supposed to come back, and we had a whole summer plan. Like, we're gonna come and visit all the family, which we haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't easy to get back and forth with a whole family of people. You know what I'm saying? And just scheduling everything. And I had the bright idea. I was like, man, I'm gonna make some money before I go back to the States, so I can ball out and buy some new kicks and all this stuff. And so me and some of the homies, we had started a ring of like stealing mopeds and selling them. And we found a chop shop and everything. Like we knew this little Korean dude that was like, yeah, bring me the mopeds and I'll pay you guys. And we were just some high school kids, not even high school. I was in 7th grade, 7th, 8th grade. And man, I was like, man, I'm gonna go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I started going. It's what I ended up doing is I ended up getting some of the little homies that were around me, and I was like some younger kids, and I was like, hey man, this is how you do it. I was like, when you get them, come to me, bring them to me, and I'll take them and sell them, and then I'll give you a percentage. You know what I'm saying? So that they wouldn't go and sell them themselves and make the money. I was like, I'm gonna be cut in, like King of New York. I want a piece of everything. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up teaching them how to do it, and I remember one summer, man, like we were getting ready. It was like a week before we were supposed to leave back to the States, and I remember I was in the crib just chilling, man. I get a knock at my door, and I go open the door. One of the little homies is like, hey, man, I got one. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? I ran into the room, threw on my clothes real quick. I was like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So we go downstairs. We get on the moped. We're driving. And, this is Korea, so, like, mopeds are everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And
it's like you see on TV.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a big market for it. It's like in China with bikes. You know what I'm saying? Like, mopeds are everywhere. So we jump on the moped, and we're taking off down the hill from my house. And there's a motorcycle cop coming up the hill. We're driving. I'm driving it. He's on the back. Wait. Yeah. I'm driving. He's on the back. So we're mashing. The cop looks at it. He just gives me this look. You know what I'm saying? Like hold on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so I mash out, take off. And we get to the bottom of the hill, and there's like 50 Koreans out there, like, just waiting for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking for this moped, because this guy stole it from the end of my street and drove up to my house to come get me. And I'm like, bro,
he left that part of the story.
He left that out of the story.
I didn't tell you about that.
Bro, so they ended up, I'm trying to mash out on the moped. The motorcycle cop pulls up next to me, kicks the side of it, and we wreck. Right? My homie jumps off. We both take off running opposite directions, and I get caught. Boom! They grab me. They literally beat me up, right? Like bad. Like, I mean, stomp me, and like, and the cop was like there, and I see a cop car pulling up, and I'm like, oh man, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the cops are here. You know what I'm saying? Like, more cops. They're gonna stop and control everything. And so they're like, I can hear them yelling, and I don't understand them. They're speaking Korean, and one of the cop grabs me, like, picks me up, and he's speaking English. He's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "I don't know what happened." And the other guy's like, "He stole the moped." And next thing, he looks at me, he's like, whack, and slaps me in my face, bro. And like, they had tied my hands behind my back with my own belt. Right? Damn. So my hands are tied behind my back, and he lined me up. He had a line of people, that everybody that had ownership of the moped, like the family of it or whatever, he let them come and slap me in my face. Right? What? Yeah, bro. So it was like 2 grown men, a woman, and then like a grandma. And like,
oh wow.
And I'm like, dude, and out of everybody, like, the grandma hit the hardest. It was like crazy, bro.
They just took shots at you?
Yeah, he let him do that. It was like, pow, pow, and because I mean, they live different, you don't do that stuff over there. You know what I'm saying? And
well, it started out like an Indiana Jones story and ended up like the worst.
Right, bro?
Yeah.
Yo, they whooped me so bad. Like, I was like literally coughing up blood for like 3 days, you know what I'm saying? Because they like stomped on my stomach while I was on the ground, like they were jumping on my stomach, and they whooped me, bro. But it taught me a lesson, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't steal.
Quit stealing.
Yeah, quit
at least
stealing.
From the street.
Yeah, I mean,
quit stealing from down the street.
And it wasn't even me. That was the thing. It was the homie that stole it and brought it back to me, man. But
that's messed up.
Yeah. So and but long story short, I had to spend the whole summer going to court in Korea.
Wow.
And we couldn't go back to the States. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sucked.
So you couldn't even go ball out?
Nah. Well, I didn't, I had to end up spending all my money and stuff on lawyers and all kinds of crap. And then, it just got bad, bro. And like, one of my hustles was like going back to the States or having my cousins or something like record a VHS tape of like all the new music videos, and then like I would charge people to come watch it like at my house.
You're the
like,
bootlegger?
Yeah,
the
bro.
first
Like,
bootlegger?
yeah, bro. Like, and you know, like, cause they didn't, back then there was no internet.
Right.
There was no, there was no like DVDs. Like the Koreans weren't up on the hip hop culture like that to where they were, bringing over bootlegs of the music videos and stuff. So that was our only way to get it, man. Like I'd come back and I'd record tapes, Rap City and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, dog, and I'd come back and all the homies, we'd meet up in one spot and just smoke out and watch all these music videos that, we'd never get over there. And
Oh,
people were
that's
like,
so
yeah.
So you were the first key to music in Korea.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I got off subject or not, but
A little bit. No,
a little bit. You kind of messed up my interview.
Is it
So.
true? I have no idea. I like it though. So, how did you come back to the States to live here? Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, no, I ended up getting into some trouble, man, and I ended up the crazy story is like me and my brothers. I have two older brothers, and we were all living there, and we were just getting it. You know what I'm saying? Like making money, doing stuff that we weren't supposed to. And one of my brothers had ended up getting married to an Australian chick, and he moved to Australia. He was like, man, it's dope down here. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, I want to bring you down to Australia. So for Christmas, I was like, bro, I'm gonna go to Australia for Christmas. It's summer down there.
Yeah,
you know what
why
I'm saying?
not?
So yeah,
Sure.
so I went down there with my brother, and and soon as I get there, bro, like I'm not even there for like maybe 2-3 hours, and I get a call from my mom, and she's like, the cops came to the house looking for you and your brothers. And I was like, what? She's like, the CID, right, which is the Criminal Investigation Department for the military. And they came looking for you. They had a warrant for your arrest, and I'm like, what? I'm like, well, for what? And they're like, well, they've got a lot of proof that you've been selling dope.
You know
exactly.
for what. You know for what.
I knew what it was for, but and so they had a lot of evidence. Exactly. Like, huh? Me? But they had a lot of evidence, and I ended up having to fly back, man, and go. As soon as I landed, man, I had to go straight to the police station and go get interrogated. And my dad played my lawyer, man. My dad's love that dude, man. He's played my lawyer so many times in life.
Wow.
I feel so bad for him, bro.
That's
but
that unconditional love lawyer.
yeah, exactly,
You know what I mean?
And I remember we were in the car, and he looked at me, he's like, now tell me, did you do it?
Oh,
And I was like, nah.
that's the worst. That's the worst.
Yeah, and I was like, it was so obvious. I was like, nah, man, what?
Nah.
And he gave me that look. He's like, I'm gonna play your lawyer. Now tell me, did you do it? Yeah, man, I did
He
it.
came clean.
I had to, man,
Oh.
because he was going to bat for me.
Yeah.
And
he was in the military.
yeah, and it was gonna mess his whole job up. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to admit to it. I had to own up and take the charges. And it was either they were gonna put me in Korean jail for like a year, or I get deported. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, I'm out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like just deport me. And so I got kicked out of Korea. And
Can you go back?
now I can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been
like so many years.
Yeah, I think it was like over 20 years or something. So now I can go back. I went back maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, it was just so that really messed me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like maybe 16, 17, something like that.
Yeah.
And ended up having to come back and move with my aunt. And that's how I ended up in Tennessee. It was like my aunt was living in Clarksville. I had nowhere else to go.
Nobody else would take you.
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody knew.
We don't want them.
Yeah, everybody knew what I was about. You know what I'm saying? And so my aunt Grace, man, who took me in, my Uncle Tom, they were like, they're like super Christians, right? So, just going from the lifestyle of, I was living in Korea and I was pretty much on my own. You know what I'm saying?
do
Like
whatever you want.
I did whatever. I came in whenever I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like partied in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. Like
Just don't get arrested.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't get arrested, and then boom, you know what I'm saying?
You
Like
got
2
arrested.
cases
Yeah,
in like less than a year. But no, it was like I was living a different lifestyle, you know, and my parents were always gone doing their thing, so I was just living it, you know what I'm saying? Both my brothers were DJing in like the biggest clubs in Korea. Dang. So I was just like we were in the mix, you know what I'm saying? And
just running your own shit.
Yeah, just living, man. I mean, I would get up and leave, and I'd be gone, you know, 2, 3 in the morning, come home, crash out, wake up, go do it again. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I wasn't even in 10th grade yet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn,
I was a kid,
that's
bro.
crazy.
Yeah, and going out to nightclubs and all kinds of stuff. You know, and they don't, you know, it's Korea. They weren't IDing, and you know,
so you can get away with a lot.
Yeah, yeah. We were out there buying alcohol and all kinds of stuff. Like I had a corner store right next to my house. Like I would walk downstairs across the alley, and it was just this little store. You just slide open the door, and it was like someone's refrigerator that they would stock with like alcohol and stuff, and you could buy it from them.
Wow.
You know, and you know that was pretty cool, man, because I would do all this. But I mean, at a very young age, so I had to grow up, you know, fast, you know what I'm saying, and learned a lot and had a lot of struggles early on, but yeah, so moving back to the States was like a shock to me. First of all, like
Clarksville.
Yeah, Clarksville, exactly. So living in Clarksville, one was like different. It's so quiet, you know. My aunt and them lived in kind of not really in the country, but it was the country to me because I came from a city that's like New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like all night
times 10.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
New York
like
City times 10.
And it never sleeps. You know what I'm saying? So I was used to constantly hearing noise, and I got to there, and it was just like silent
Crickets.
Yeah, and I'm like, I couldn't sleep at night because of that. I had to go buy a fan, and I'd have to turn sounds on. And but a funny story is like to show you how different it is, man. Like I remember my first day of school, I had to go to Clarksville High, and I woke up and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this crap. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, and I remember I was listening to Redman, Muddy Waters, and I had it bumping, dog. Like, cause that was my routine every morning. I get up, play my music real loud, get dressed, go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, do my thing, you know. And I'm not thinking I'm in my aunt's house, who's like super Christian. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Super religious. And I remember, like, I was bumping it, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah. She opens the door, boom, hit stop on that, and she goes, "That'll be the last time you play that in my house."
No,
and I was like, yo, I'm stuck. I'm like, dude, what movie was that? In Minister Society, where he like puts his head down when his grandfather's talking to him, and he's like in the plane. Like, that's what I felt. That's what happened, bro.
Exactly like that. Oh, that's so terrible.
And like for the first month of school, I'd even go, bro. Like,
you just rebelled.
Yeah, well, there was a church like across the street from the school, and I would just go sit behind the church and write rhymes, like for all day. And I think back, and I'm like, well, there was a church right here, and then next to that there was an apartment complex. So I'd go sit in the apartment complex laundry room, and act like I was in there doing laundry or something. I just sit there writing. But I think back, and I'm like, bro, like I sat in the back of a church for like a month, and no one said anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nobody cared.
Yeah, and like no one that worked there like came out and were like, "You all right, man? Like, why aren't you in school?" Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Why you look so mad?
And I just sit out there just writing rhymes, and yeah, that was it, man. It was a fucking shock, man.
That's how you got into writing rhymes? Were you doing that like in Korea?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had like, I mean, because of the nightlife and the...
No, I mean, actually, man, like I and it sounds cliche, man, but like I started off like writing poetry when I was a kid, and writing stories. Like I would write. I remember my kindergarten teacher told me one day, like I had wrote this long story, and I had it. She went and took it all and put it in like book form, and got it laminated and all this stuff for me. And then she wrote a long letter like, one day I can't wait to read one of your books. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. So as a little kid, like at an early age, I was always like reading, and like I was into like Stephen King books and stuff like in like 3rd grade. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you were that kid.
Yeah, exactly. I was that kid. But I mean, it sounds cliche because like every rapper is like, I started off writing poetry. You know what I'm saying? But that's really what it was, man. I would just write these poems or stories or whatever. And then I remember I think it was what's the Naughty by Nature, 1995? Yeah, so like that was the first time I wrote a verse. I remember it was to I think to Hip Hop Hooray.
The beat just took you there.
Yeah, and I was like, I remember, because that's when I like before that I was still a kid. I mean, I was still a kid in '95, but like it was like I started getting like to that place where it's like, man, I want, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to be cool, man.
Yeah,
like I want to
do that.
Yeah, like
I could do that.
And so I start mimicking what you see on TV and shit, but yeah, I remember I was one day I was like in the crib and everybody was gone, and I remember that I just got the Naughty by Nature, the 1995 album, and I was playing it, and I just tried to write a rhyme or something. It was probably fucking wackest rhyme ever, but
You don't remember it?
nah, hell
At all?
nah, hell nah, bro. I don't remember that shit. I could barely remember the stuff I dropped on Cold Facts, bro. Like,
It wasn't like Korea, diarrhea.
yeah, probably. So, but I was actually at that time I was in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wait, no, it was in 1993. Was it? I
remember the album cover. I can't remember the name.
I gotta correct myself. I don't want to be sitting here looking all dumb on. That ain't even the motherfucking. But no, that's it was 19. Bam, here it is. Hip hop history. 1993. I was right.
Naughty. Okay, yeah.
1993.
I didn't
Not
listen
95.
to
1993.
only song I heard was Hip Hop Hooray, and that was because of MTV. I wasn't like into it.
Yeah, they had some. I don't know why. Like, for some reason, I bought that album.
It was dope album.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. Is living overseas like that, bro. Is the beauty of it was like I didn't know anything about like East Coast, West Coast, or you know what I'm saying. Like it was like you went to the PX to buy your music, and you'd go in there, and it was like whoever they hired to like order music is who controlled what you listened to. So like I would go in there, and I'd go to like the rap section or whatever, and then I would just like randomly, well, I wasn't buying anything. Back then I was like Five Finger discount and shit, but it was like,
what can I steal today?
Like, this looks cool. You know what I'm saying? And I'd come home and it'd be fucking like Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, and I had no clue who that was. You know what I'm saying? But somehow I got it, or Tribe Called Quest.
And it still resonated with you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
See, my influence, like my cousins, they would listen to this Ice-T, and I would be like, oh, Ice-T's dope.
Yeah.
Listen to Ghetto Boys. And I'm like, oh, it's dope. You know, so
Yeah.
I was like heavily influenced.
Yeah.
But it's just like you just picked it up and it resonated.
Yeah, I mean, I had two older brothers that put me up onto a lot of music, but like not so much hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like they would play a lot of like classic reggae.
Yeah.
So like they put me up on like Gregory Isaacs and Peter Tosh, Toots and the Maytals, and Bunny Wailer, and of course Bob and all that stuff. But like that was really like for the longest time, like all I really listened to was like classic reggae for some reason.
You guys sound like the coolest family on the planet.
you know what's funny is my brother used to come get me from school, sign me out of school. I was in like fucking 4th grade, bro, and he would come sign me out of school, and he'd be like, yo, we're gonna go to the beach today. And we'd just go fucking drive. And when we lived in Japan, you know what I'm saying, we'd just drive to the beach, and like him and my other brother just fucking, I was smoking too, I ain't gonna lie. I started smoking at a very early age, but we would just jump in the fucking, he had a little like bus, like a van, a Volkswagen van type of thing.
Right.
We'd just drive to the beach, and they would go surf, and I'd sit on the beach, smoke out, whatever. And I was super young, bro. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but
You were just following. That's all.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, they would pick me up, go to the beach, or take me to the arcade. Like the arcade in Tokyo was like 5 stories high, and just like these amazing video games that are like barely coming to the States now.
Oh,
you know
I
what
didn't
I'm
even
saying?
think about that.
Yeah,
like they had
bro.
all the good games first, like in Asia.
God, they had like crazy technology back then, man. And because I remember like I used to go there, and I'd always play this jet game. You would sit in it, and it was a ball, and it would just spin, and it was like you're really in a jet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like because you're upside down and all this shit. But I mean, I didn't see none of that stuff. And when I came back to the States, I'm like, You know, like
No, Hickory Hollow Mall had the stand-up afterburner.
yeah, right.
Where you had to,
right.
you had to pretend.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog. Nah. So, it was interesting though, man. Like a lot of crazy stories, bro. Like we don't have enough time for all them
Yeah, I
stories.
can't imagine. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to sit there and touch on it maybe another time.
Yeah,
like
yeah, for sure.
the history of Capo, but
Yeah, nah. But that's how I ended up back in the States. I know that was kind of a long
no, it was
answer.
great. I mean, a lot of people. No, who knows that?
No one.
Not a lot of people.
Just family,
Just me.
close people, and
Yeah.
you, close homies and stuff. Like
Wow.
yeah, so that's how I ended up in Clarksville.
And then from Clarksville, we go where?
From Clarksville, I ended up moving to Murfreesboro. My mom came back to the States. She was like, she didn't want to leave me in the States by myself.
Just in case.
Exactly. Well, she knew like
Just in case they had mopeds here.
bro, like just living with my aunt, like I was there for maybe 6 months, maybe about 6 months
Yeah.
or to a year, something like that. But I remember like just in the short amount of time that I lived with them, I had already started getting in trouble.
No,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
you didn't fall into like you're like just kind of fall into the Christian. It's like okay, I'm with the church. I'm with cool. Like
Nah.
nothing hit you. Just totally like I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I totally
I'm not here.
rebelled,
I don't
bro.
want to be here. I
was
wanna
like,
do
this is
anything.
not me. I mean, even though like some of the religious stuff that she would tell me like resonated and it made sense to me and I felt it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And but it was just I was in an early age, man, and I think there was a lot of anger in me from just like when I was a kid and shit like that and shit that just stuck with me that like everybody else, you just rebel and do dumb shit and but I mean she tried to get to me, you know what I'm saying? Like she would try to like my uncle, I remember my uncle would be like yo, I'd come to him and be like, hey man, I'm gonna go to the mall with my friends, and he'd be like, no you're not.
No.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, no,
because
I'm not going.
I was used to telling my parents what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like I would
Right.
tell them like, oh, I'm out. They were like, all right, be safe. My mom would always, be safe, mijo, be safe.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be safe. You know
Instead
what
of
I'm saying?
asking for permission, like
Yeah.
may I go?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
to the
mom, can
mall?
I go to, like, so I just got to a point where it's like, yo, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And they knew that's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? And but my uncle wasn't having it. And I
Yeah.
remember one day I came to him and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to the mall. He's like, nah, you ain't going nowhere. He's like, you see those pile of bikes out back? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I need you to start taking them all apart. He's like, get some sandpaper and start sanding them down. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. So we took, it was about 6-7 bikes and we took them all apart, sanded them down.
So here he was stealing bikes. And there
You got it, bro.
Okay,
so,
okay,
So
see.
we started. So from there, we started a little black market thing. No, I'm joking.
So,
nah, he
you
actually,
work for me now.
Yeah, right.
Like now you work for
Exactly.
me.
You mine, boy. You mine. Nah, we made a lot of money together.
Oh,
though.
that's so, keep moving. As a family, keep it in
exactly,
the
family thing. But he actually we refurbished them all and shit and
That's cool.
took them and gave them to some kids at the church.
But you appreciate what they did for you now.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
you're not a total
bro.
asshole.
No, hell nah, bro. Like, no, I totally appreciate, because I mean, I'm a father now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a parent, and I'm an uncle, so I can imagine like if one of my nephews or something got in trouble, or God forbid one of my kids, like the amount of pressure it would be to say, yeah, I'll take him in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and you know what that person's about. You know what I'm saying? You know that person is bringing bad energy into a home that's, well put together, and probably like I probably made a lot of waves in a pool of water that was calm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But at least they're cool with it. They were.
yeah. So I mean, they
It was
held
a
me
test for them.
down. Yeah, right.
It was a blessing. It was a blessing.
Yeah, it was, man. So,
It
but I mean,
helped them.
even like just in the, I mean, I was in so much shit, bro. Like I went back to selling dope, and I met my friend Travis that was out there, and I started hanging out in Greenwood Projects and selling with him. Me, him, and another dude, and
Is that here?
yeah, Greenwood Project. That's in Clarksville.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I was doing. Like I would tell my aunt I'm going to school, and I'd catch the city bus, or I'd walk, and I'd meet my homie, and we'd go to, he stayed in the project.
Wow.
So we'd go out there and just hang out on the basketball court and serve all day, and I'd make my money and come back. And You know, and I thought I was like, man, I'm gonna get some money up, man. I'm gonna send it to my mama and show her that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm handling business out here.
Bring her home.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take care of my mom's, and you know, and it was like the total opposite, bro. But you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, she ended up being like, you know, I got to come back and do that, and you know, for a long time, I felt responsible because I was like, damn, I split my parents up. You know what I'm saying? Because
so he stayed?
Yeah,
because he had to.
He had to.
And she came back.
Yeah.
For you.
Yep,
just
for
to
me.
make sure you weren't.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Which and then
God,
that shit got even worse,
That
bro,
sucks.
because they split up. They were still together, but they weren't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, I ended up you know, for a long time, bro, like I was in a whole different game. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up living in Murfreesboro, and I was hustling and doing my thing there, and ended up getting popped in Murfreesboro.
Oh.
Yeah, I got popped in Murfreesboro for trafficking. And
that's not good.
nah, they raided my mom's house.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like brought the dogs in, put everybody on the ground, you know what I'm saying, face down, and yeah, bro, and super bad, man. And
Hey, man, you're a sloppy criminal. You're not a good criminal. Maybe you should rap.
see, this is the thing though, is like, so the time I got caught in Korea was because the kids stole the moped from down the street. Wasn't me, right? And then when I got caught in Murfreesboro, it really wasn't me either, because I had picked one of my friends up and took him to go cash his check, or to go pick his check up from Taco Bell.
Right.
And when he went into Taco Bell, I didn't know, but he served the undercover. And inside Taco Bell, he served the undercover, got back in my car, and then we drove off.
And they put two and two together.
Yeah, well, and then they came and we pulled up to a gas station, bro. And next thing you know, they shattered my windows. They pulled us out the window, and all this shit. Like, the story was crazy, bro. But long story short, like, if I would have known what I knew now back then, like, they wouldn't have been able to get me with shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I ended up getting a punk ass lawyer that was like, you better plead guilty. Like, they're gonna give you the, you know, most you can get, and they're charging you with trafficking.
You're in Tennessee now.
Yeah,
and they're playing that.
Yeah, and I just turned 18, I think, and I remember the cop had told me, he's like, we waited till you turned 18 to charge you as an adult. And I was like,
They've been watching the whole
they
time.
were watching, bro. They were
okay.
they were pulling me over, and I remember one night they pulled me over, and I had a Honda Accord that was lowered with like neon lights and all this shit, and rims, and they pulled me over one night and were like, for no reason, and it was DT, so I knew, like, it was detective, so I knew that it was more to it, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, you pulling me over because of my lights? And no, you know, and they really didn't give me a reason why they pulled me over. But I had like $6,000 on me in cash. And I remember they put it all on the front of the hood. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, what's all this money for? I said, man, you see my car, bro? I was like, I'm going to get all kinds of upgrades. And they were like, where'd you get this money from? I was like, man. I was like, I've been saving up. I was like, but also my mom gives me an allowance. And I told him, and I always,
big allowance.
Yeah.
That's
and I was like, and
huge.
I've been saving up for a long time. So you can go ask her, because my mom always knew, like, if anything like that goes, yeah, of course, I give him money. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
And beat your ass later.
Exactly. Like, you dumb motherfucker. You know?
Yeah. Oh no, I give them a ton of money, money.
Yeah.
And then they leave, and then she starts whipping.
Exactly. Oh. Like, you're done.
You're like, hey, cops, come back. I sell dope.
I'm gonna walk you guys out.
You guys want some dope?
But yeah, nah, man. So yeah, so it just shit escalated. But they I knew something was going on. Like, when they pulled me over, and I was like, that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even a marked police car. So it was like something was.
It's like you're being targeted.
Yeah,
you could tell.
Yeah, and they were just reaching, like, let's try to get him, see if he's got something, you know. And but there was just little things. Like, I remember one night one of my homies left my house and was walking to his car, and all of a sudden the cop pulled up on him, like, and I hear people yelling outside, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I looked out my window, and they got my homie slammed on the hood of his car, and like they're searching. I'm like, what the hell? So I went outside, and I'm like, what's going on, man? He's like, I don't know. I just walked out your house, and the cop grabbed me and slammed me against the car, bro. And what's funny is, like, dude is dude was like super. He's one of them dudes that was like super clean, like never did anything, didn't smoke, didn't drink, like was super square, like by the book.
He
but
just
was
wanted
just
to come play video games.
exactly.
And then
That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were upstairs like playing fucking Tekken or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's like, yeah. I mean, I knew him from high school, but he was like one of the homies that were super cool, but wasn't in all that other shit. So like when everything would go down, he'd be like, yo, I'm gonna head home, guys. Yo, like y'all be good. You know what I'm saying? Like soon as we start lighting up blunts, yo, all right, man, I'm out, bro. And that shit was funny.
The guy you try to get the smoke so you can make fun of him.
I'm like, hey, bro,
just hit it, and blow it at him.
I think he did once or twice, and we'd clown him and shit because he'd get all stupid, get all quiet, but like.
That's me.
That's you. Me off of contact. Yeah, you don't ever smoke it.
Well, remind me to tell that story later. That'd be a good one.
Which one?
The one where I got the contact with Jackie Chan.
Oh yeah. I thought that was our first interview. That was Yellow Wolf was the first one.
The Rutledge. That was a Rutledge. But yeah, no, continue.
Yeah. Nah, I mean,
so you had a corny Honda Accord.
Yeah, it was dope back then.
Some neon lights that looked terrible.
I had it lowered.
That shit's horrible.
That shit was super dope, man.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, I thought I was fresh, bro. Yo, what's crazy is I had two 15s in the trunk. Like I didn't had no trunk in this Honda Accord because I had two 15s. My homie was doing real big, and he ended up getting popped, and he got picked up by the feds and shit, and so his girl needed some money, and I was like, I just went over there and was like, hey, you know, what happened to his stereo system? And she's like, I'll give it to you, you know, whatever you can give me.
Wow.
So I do it like he had like two big ass amps and then these 15s that were huge, and I think I gave her like $200, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she was like cool with it, you know what I'm saying? Because he ended up going away for like ever, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. So she's just trying to get money for
she was just trying to like rack up, not even for the Lord, just for like living, because you know, he's done, bro. Like, he was already on parole and shit, and he ended up shooting at the cops when they were chasing him.
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't know where I was at. What did I say?
I was talking about your bad taste in cars. Your Euro. I'm just fucking.
Yeah.
So your 15s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the two 15s and shit. But yeah, that shit was just ridiculous, bro. Like way over the top. You know, especially for a kid my age, you know what I'm saying? Like having all that shit and just going crazy with it and going way overboard for no reason.
So that's what you're doing. Get the spot rated.
Yeah.
In Murfreesboro.
Yep.
Your mom's.
Yep. And then
did you do time on it?
Yeah, I did. I did a little bit of time on that.
What is time?
In 940. Yeah, in 940. Got out and then ended up violating and then had to go do like a 30-piece in the workhouse. And I mean, that shit was easy. You know what I'm saying? Like the workhouse was straight. They never even gave me a fucking job. So it's just like,
you would just show up, hang out?
No, I stayed. I had to stay. It's like jail, but you know, like normally is what they do is like they wake you up in the morning, eat breakfast, and then you go to work for the day, and then you come back, sleep, wake up and do it again. But they didn't give me a job, so like all my job was to do was like make sure that everything was clean and shit. But like I just sat around watching fucking TV all day. You know what I'm saying? Like that was it, and doing push-ups and fucking shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but I mean that I got off of that. You know, once I got off of paper and shit, and which they fucked me on that too. But you know, I just kind of made the choice to like, you know, kind of start moving in a different direction. But my mom was like, "Yo, I'm out of here. Like, you're old enough. You're 18 now. I'm gone." You know what I'm saying?
She go back?
Yeah, she took off. Like, so I moved out. I moved from there. I moved to North Carolina to live with my brother, and you know, which he was hustling like 10 times more than I was. So it kind of like pulled me back into that life. You know what I'm saying? And I was out there, and I was like, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen how much money he was making, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? I started doing my thing, coming back here, and then going out there. And kind of playing a mule type of thing. So yeah, and then I met my wife, man. I was living in North Carolina and decided to come back to Tennessee and do my thing out here, and got a little apartment and shit. And then I met my wife, had my first little one, and then she kind of told me, she was like, I was still hustling and shit. She was like, you know, like, is is this all you think you can do? Like,
Yeah.
You don't think you can do anything else? And I was like, shit. In my head, I'm sitting there like, yo, I'm gonna be a kingpin one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be big at this shit. Like, we're getting real money. You know what I'm saying? But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, it for some reason when she said that, it was like it just kept echoing in my head. Like every time I'm like, dog, like, is this all I can, like, this is all I've ever done. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all I've never worked a real job. The only time I worked was like when I was on probation and I had to. So I was like, yeah, like I was like, I know I could do something. Like, and it was almost one of them things like, oh, well, I'll show you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll prove you I can do other shit. You know what I'm saying?
I can do anything.
Yeah, and it was like I had to prove to myself also. It was like something like, well, shit, can I? You know what I'm saying? Can I do something else? And so then I just started, doing music, man, and hanging out with my guys and just hitting the studio and recording and doing shit like that and kind of transitioned.
To your first album?
Yeah, well, my first album was called ISK. It was with a group, Imperial Sound Killers.
Oh, that's right. Those
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was with a dude named Jack Selfish and Black, and we were a group, Imperial Sound Killers, and we were killing it, man. We were doing good. I was still hustling
in Nashville.
Yeah, in Nashville.
You guys did that in Nashville.
Yeah, and we were still hustling. I was still hustling when we were together because that's how I was funding almost everything. But yeah, I mean that was a cool time, man. Like we had a single called Fantasies. Like we had radio play and all kinds of shit here locally that we didn't pay for. So it was super dope that how organically it was picked up, and people were rocking with it, man. Like I remember there was a clothing store in the mall called Men of Fashion. You remember that?
Yeah.
In Hickory Hollow.
Upstairs.
Yeah, upstairs by the food court.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in there one day like copping some clothes or whatever, and the song came on the radio. I was like, oh shit, like you remember what was dude's name? Taz. We had a different radio station. It was like 106.7.
I remember Taz.
Yeah, Taz.
Yeah.
And he was the one who was like playing the fuck out.
It wasn't 101 back then.
No,
it was something else.
Well, 101 was around, I think.
I thought they were like a
Maybe it wasn't. It was 106.7 The Blaze or something. And then it was
Taz.
92Q. Taz was on 106.7.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, then from there, like we were cool, man. Like, and I was moving with them, and you good?
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Am I talking too much?
No.
Oh, okay. We were good, man, and like funny shit. Like one day, they came over to my house, and like we had a meeting, and they were like, "Hey, man, we're gonna turn Muslim, and we're stopping rapping because it's against our religion." And
both of them?
Yeah, both of them. Now we just got an order of like 1,000 to 2,000 CDs, and I had them stacked up in my living room against the wall, and I'm like, "You guys, what?" They're like, "Yeah, we're done, bro. We're done." I'm like, "Yo, we just got a fucking order of like 1,000 something CDs, bro." Yeah, man, we're good. I was like, oh, all right, well, you're going to leave them for me, right?
Right.
Because I'm going to go fucking hustle these things, and I'm going to go make some money. And they ended up leaving them for me, man. And I remember they took a couple of themselves or whatever, did whatever they wanted. But, like, I was like, you don't need them. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them to me. So I went out and fucking hustled the shit out of them, made my money, man, and invested that into my next project, which was my solo project, which that was kind of like my fuck you project, because I felt like at the time, like everybody was like, yo, you ain't ever gonna do shit, you won't be shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, because one after that happened, I remember they left and they had got in the car or whatever, and I think one of them accidentally like butt called me, and the phone rang. I answered. I was like, yo, what's up? And I could hear them talking, and they're like, man, Capo ain't shit, bro. Like they were like, terrible. I was like, then I was Baby Gotti, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that, like he ain't ever gonna do nothing. And which, honestly, bro, like, I'm glad it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they were right to a certain extent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't shit back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a fucking asshole back then. But I was still a good person because I took care of a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? I let a lot of these guys stay with me and live with me for a long time. But it was the fact that I was like, damn, bro, like, really? You know You know what I'm saying? Like these are supposed to be my guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I called him and I was like, I let him know that I heard it. Oh man, nah, it ain't like that, bro. I was like, it's all good, homie. Boom, you know what I'm saying? But that shit right there was like fuel to the fire, bro. And so that was that's why that album was like so aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a lot of songs on there. I did a song to my brother who passed away, Leo, called "I Miss You." But that was like the rest of it was
was like the most softest.
Yeah, well, I did that song, and then I did a song called "Changes," which was like it was about my wife, and it was it was built for my wife, but it was really like just about relationships in general. It starts off like the first verse is like when you first meet a chick and everything's beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And that you're like, oh man, you know, like you can't wait to see him and everything's gravy and happy and you're all, you know, fucking all that shit. And then all of a sudden you hit a bump in the road and it's like, wait, you know what I'm saying? Like now we're not getting along, we're arguing, like I don't want to come home, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit. Yeah, and then the third verse was kind of like, well, we've been through all that. We've bumped heads. We had our good times, our bad times. We've seen both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's time to grow together, you know what I'm saying? But nah, like the rest of it was really fucking aggressive. When I listen back to it, I'm like, damn, dog, like what the fuck was I so angry for?
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, I was really an asshole. I was pissed, bro.
You remember when like artists could do that though? Like in that era, like you could actually write a love song and just still have the hardest shit on the album.
Yeah.
Like where people actually like they don't do this shit no more.
Nah, they don't do that shit. It's like either the whole album's like
it's all
love songs and crying and shit, or
it's not.
There's really no like really hard street shit. Well, I guess there is. I mean, there's some people out, but it's not like mainstream no more.
It's not like it used to be.
Nah.
Everybody knows that.
Gangster rap, you know what I'm saying? It was an era. It was an era, man. But yeah, so
Baby Gotti.
Yeah, Baby Gotti. GHATTI.
Right.
God's hands always touch the innocent. That's what it stood for. Yeah. And but that was cool, man. That was like that helped me kind of get to where I'm at now, because it like I learned how artists move and what artists want and you know how to engage with artists, you know what I'm saying? And it really it helped me learn the whole process. Like, so when I deal with artists now, it's like I understand how it is to be passionate about your music and believe that your shit's the hottest. Or, you know what I'm saying, like not want to change a line because it has some kind of value to you, some personal value.
Right. They still do that?
Very few. But even just like with that, or even like with the process of creating and writing, or you know what I'm saying, like all of it, I did it all. You know what I'm saying? Like I traveled by myself. I went back to Korea and Japan and Hawaii, selling CDs and performing and shit. And so it was like I got well rounded with it, and just learned that whole aspect, man.
And that made you to where you are. Did you ever get on a label or a deal or take a tour? Like back then, that actually happened to some people where they would sign a label deal, or they would...
Yeah, man. It was crazy because somehow I got linked up with Jagged Edge. And
the R&B group.
Yeah, the R&B group Jagged
Now
Edge.
this is all off of your single album.
My solo album,
the Cold Facts.
Yeah, the Cold Facts. So like Cold Facts had dropped, and from there, after Cold Facts dropped, I ended up somehow getting my music. I think my manager at the time got it, and I was going down to Jagged Edge's studio a lot, recording.
Atlanta.
Yeah, in Atlanta, and just dropping verses. And my guy Jack that had turned Muslim, we had linked back up, and he was just making beats. So like he's crazy with the production. So we were down there and he's just like banging beats out for like Jagged Edge, and we were in the studio with like DJ Drama and Styles P and Akon, and like I mean he was sick with it, bro. Like, and he was so close, and then he went back to like, yo, I'm going against with my religions. I'm gonna stop again.
So he struggles with that a lot.
Yeah, he struggles with that the going back and forth and not being able to let go of the music, because it's a love, you know. And he still creates music. It's just music for for his demo, you know what I'm saying, and what he believes in, which is cool, man. Like, I don't knock that at all. But yeah, so like I was down there, and me and Ian Burke sat down one day and spoke with me, Ian Burke, and Rodney Simpson. We spoke about possibly signing with Jagged Edge, and I actually have a song with him that never released.
Really?
Yeah. It's called Ghetto Sexy.
Classic.
Yeah, bro. It's funny because I was actually listening to it the other day. I pulled up an old hard drive.
I want to hear
like,
it. I want to hear it. You gotta send it to me?
I'll send it to you.
I want to hear it.
I'll say it's horrible. But yeah. So it was like, but in one of my songs, I mentioned like that, labels were trying to, like, at the time, Latino rappers or Mexican rappers were like, it was like everything was, reggaeton or chanclas, like put your house shoes on, you cholo rap, and what I'm saying? Like, there was no in between. That's why I applaud Cap G, man, and then like Chingo and shit, like for like going out of that mold and doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do and showing the fucking industry that it's like, stop.
It can be done.
Yeah, stop trying to fucking put us in this dumbass box, bro. Like there's more to Latinos than just fucking what you see and or your stereotypes that you constantly try to portray.
Yeah.
And it's like they still do it to this day, bro. Like, you still, I mean, and that's a culture. Don't get me wrong. Like, the cholo shit, that's a culture in the West Coast. That's a whole way of life. But not every Mexican in or Chicano in the West Coast is a cholo. You know what I'm saying? Creates that type of music. You know what I'm saying? So,
and is a culture in China.
Yeah,
in
Japan.
Asia. Like, it's huge over there.
They do
like
lowrider
the
shows
Japanese,
in fucking Japan, in Tokyo.
They got like bandanas on, and they're wearing the Ben Davis.
Oh, my bad, man. My daughter just texted me.
She asking about a moped?
How much do you think I could get for this moped, Dad?
Hey, Dad, go see your mom right now.
Right?
Get out of here. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's how that whole shit happened, man.
They just weren't shining on it, on the culture.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, man, like, I don't know if I was 100% all in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved making music, but I just didn't like the other side of it. And that's kind of what pushed me into doing the business side, was because I was so sick of seeing how you get treated, how an artist gets treated, which is really bad. Yeah, bro. If you know, no one really gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's just about money. You know what I'm saying? It's like numbers. Like, oh, what's your analytics? What's this video do? It's like, dude, did you listen to the fucking song?
You're like, yeah.
It was cool. It's cool, man. Like,
it sounds like so and so. Let's put it out. Let's put it out.
Exactly. It sounds like the baby. Let's go. Come on, run it up.
Go.
Like, the fuck, bro? Like,
that's the art of the nature of the business.
Yeah, and I don't blame the business, because keyword business. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, music, the hip hop or the music industry is like the only place to where you can, and you'll open up a business and invest in something without any type of blueprint or proof on how to get your money back. You know what I'm saying? Like you go franchise a McDonald's, they give you the layout. Like, here you go. This is how you make money. Right. You know, when it comes to music, you're like, okay, like, well, no one's selling music anymore. So, I got to get my streams up. Okay, how do I do that? Oh, well, I don't have money to pay people to boost my shit or promote my shit, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so how else do I get money? Touring. Well, no one wants to see me right now, so how the fuck do I tour?
And right when you think we have the plan, like from Master P, Cash Money, like that changes.
The whole thing switches, and it's like, that doesn't work no more.
Stop doing the diamond covers and putting them out. Like, everyone did that shit.
Yeah, don't sell your music out of trunks no more. It doesn't work.
Like, what? Why not? Because you just look like a bum on 2nd Avenue. Oh, that's not cool now? Like, and everybody stops that.
Exactly. You like you're begging for money, bro. Oh, okay. Yeah, so
some of those dudes are aggressive in Nashville.
I know I was.
Were you out there?
Fuck yeah.
I remember there was a time where hitting Broadway 2nd Avenue with your CD was the shit to do.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hit really Broadway or 2nd Avenue. I was like Antioch, just the hood and shit. Like, it's funny because I remember, like, dog, like, and it's beautiful to see where Jelly Roll's at now, but like me and him used to hustle on the same corners, bro. Like he would pull up to the gas station and I'd be hustling. He'd be like, "Oh, I see you, bro. Yeah, I'm go down the street. All right, bro." Like, you know what I'm saying? And shit was real. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like we'd go out there and fucking grind out. I remember one time him and Struggle pulled up on me in like a van, like an old beat up ass van or something. And they had a gang of CDs, and they're like, "Bro, we're going to Florida. We're gonna go sell all these CDs in Florida." And I'm like, I was like, "Yo, go get it, dog.
Yeah, go do that."
Yeah. So I mean, it was crazy, man. But yeah. I mean, it's just the times have changed, man.
A
Times
lot.
have changed. Yeah. I mean, I used to give myself a quota, bro. My wife would come home from work, and I'd be like, I'm not coming home until I sell all these CDs. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how many it was, whether 50 to 100. Like, I'm not coming home tonight until all these CDs are gone.
What are you, the Mexican Michael Knight?
Miguel Knight.
Oh, that's terrible.
Nah,
I'm sorry about that.
Definitely not.
Yeah, don't do that.
Definitely
That's
not.
what's up though. Like you really had a passion to sell.
Yeah, I think that
Did
was
you put them in the stores too, like at Icker House?
Yeah.
There's a couple stores that would do local and
Yeah.
New Life and all that.
New Life. I was in every CD store. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was cleaning out my desk a few months ago, and I still had all my files from all the places, all the consignments that I did.
Where you do consignments?
Yeah, I was like,
remember.
holy shit, like that's crazy, bro. But
I remember Rivergate had one of the they had a music store. I didn't go to Rivergate much, but when I did, they had a store in there, and it was majority was local. hip-hop.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like you would go in there, you'd probably see yours. You would see like
paper.
paper. Or you'd see Lex,
Yep.
the top dollar dudes, and
Yep.
you would see like everybody. You know what I mean?
Nah, I remember that, man. I was in almost all of them. I made
Yeah,
sure.
Cool
that-
Daddy Fresh.
Oh, of course,
USC
of
Pistol.
course.
Like that shit was dope. That's where you went to go get it. Greenway, all this shit.
Yeah, bro. Like that's
And New Life. New Life was like
New Life. Yup.
New Life to
Rest in
us.
peace.
Yeah. New Life to us in Spring Hill was like going to
Tower Records.
yeah, like Tower Records in LA
or in New York,
while
right?
Snoop Dogg was there. Like that's how big
Yeah.
it was because it was such a trip for us to make
Yeah.
it because we had to get someone old enough to drive.
Yeah.
And then we had to find the spot and then go there. I remember my homie, David Elliott, he went up there one day because he drove. He was out of school.
Mhm.
And he came back from school and he pulled in the parking lot because we'd hang out after school.
Mhm.
And, he was older. After he graduated, he would always come back because that's what we did, hung out. And he was
Yeah.
like, yo, I went to New Life today and seen Cool Daddy Fresh. I met him.
Oh shit!
And we were like-
that was like, yeah.
We were like, what?
No.
He was just up there? And he was like, yeah. He said, what's up? And I bought a CD. It was cool. And I was like, oh, that's dope. And this was like 93,
Wow.
94. So I was just like, man, that would be so dope to me. And I would listen to Pistol and all that. I'm like, I can't wait to meet these dudes.
So
Like,
then, how did you feel after you met all those dudes? And you got to know them all personally, and it was like
interesting,
wow,
very
this
interesting.
rap game is
Yeah.
definitely.
It was definitely like it was a heartbreak. I'm sorry. Like it was just weird. Like they were nothing like because
Like-
they were actually like to us or to anybody in Nashville. They were stars.
Yeah,
Like Pistol,
like Haystack, and all that
Fresh
shit, bro.
Stack. Yeah, you were just like you looked at them like people look at like like a 50
Big-
Cent.
yeah.
You're just like these are Hollywood stars, like Nashville stars.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
I used to bump into Buck, and I'd be like, yo, I'd go home and be like, yo, I fucking seen Buck today, man. Like,
Yeah.
pulled up at his store, and he was outside, and we chopped it up. He took one of my CDs, man.
It was
like,
so, yeah. My
like-
homie used to do a bunch, and he pulled up in Nashville and ran into Buck, and Buck was like all over, because homie didn't bow down for shit. Like he
Yeah.
was doing it. He had this Hummer, ostrich seats, and on 26s.
Nice.
Yeah, and Buck was like,
yeah.
yo, I like that. He was just like, yeah, who the fuck are you? And he was like, oh, I rap Young Buck. He was like, cool, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like get off my shit.
Yeah,
like,
right. Get the
what do
fuck
you
out
do?
of here.
Yeah, and I was
I don't give a fuck about no rapper.
you said that to Young Buck? I was like, that dude's kind of famous. And he was like, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And?
Yeah.
And?
Yeah, it's amazing though. But that's how we looked at those people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's the same way when I seen your thing. I was like, dude, this dude's making it. Like it like you did make it. You know what I mean? But like to my eyes, like I was fooled. Like I was like, dude, I gotta get a hold of this dude. Like I want to be in this hip hop
Yeah.
in Nashville. Like I want to be a part of this community.
Yeah.
I really wanted it. Like you guys got it. Look at the album cover. You had CDs. Like that shit was amazing.
Yeah, well, I made sure that, like, And that's pretty much with anything I do, man. I always want to do it a little bit bigger than what's being done. You know what I'm saying? Like the average shit.
No, and it was done so well that I thought these dudes have what I need. Like they're a label.
That was the objective, though.
Yeah,
you know
and
what I'm
it
saying?
looked
Like,
dope. I don't know how y'all did that. Like people,
Well,
there were
Tony.
some guys that did it. Was it Tony?
yeah.
Yeah, there's people that doing it, but they didn't do it to
Nah.
that degree.
No, and that's what we made. That was my objective, man. It's like I knew Tony, and what he was capable of, and I was like, bro, like I can't do it without him. You know what I'm saying? Like I need him to bring it to life. And he told me, I remember, he's like, yo, you doing your own album? Because I told him, I broke up with ISK and all that shit. And he's like, and I was the one he fucked with out of the group. So he's like, you're my man. And I told him what happened. He's like, I'm going to give you the fucking dopest cover that Nashville's ever seen, bro. He's like, I'm going to go to fucking work, man. And we came up with this idea, and like the whole fucking layout was super dope with like the city behind me and shit. And then, the suit, the cigar and shit. And then like you open it up and there was like 3 different versions of me. And it was like to show like the different angles, like the boss, the street hustler, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like the artist and all that shit. But, like I even put out like a fucking commercial to it and ran it on TV.
I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, and it was like I was slanging like CDs, looked like I was slinging dope on the corner, and then a car pulls up. I go to the car and give him a bag, which looks like money or whatever. Yeah. No one knows what's in the bag, and then which is me inside of the car. So I'm playing all roles, right? And I give myself the bag, and the car drives off, pulls up to a business, and then he walks in, and it's like some boss sitting with his back turned in like this mafia suit, smoking a cigar, and the chair turns around real slow, and it's me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And like the whole point.
And this
was
ran
like,
on TV.
Yeah, I ran it on TV,
like BET and shit.
Yeah,
too?
everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like I spent a good amount of money on that shit too, but it was like the point was like to show you like I'm doing everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm my own boss. I'm working from the ground up.
Like you're still doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like it never stopped.
It never stopped. It just evolved. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yep.
So your artist thing didn't last, huh? How did you get? What happened after that? After you stopped that, you just started like.
No, it was like it went from creating the music, and I was working. I had started bringing in some artists underneath me that I was working with, and like kind of molding and just like they seen what I did with my project, and like help me do that. You know what I'm saying? And,
Oh yeah, definitely.
And,
that shit was dope. I mean, the way it looked.
Word, I appreciate that.
I would have believed that.
And so I just started giving them like the formula and working with them, and then I went overseas. I was still out there grinding. I was still pushing as an artist. I went overseas, and then when I got back, my homie had hit me up and was like, bro, I got a deal. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what?
Like a record deal?
Yeah, a record. He's like, yo, I got a fucking deal, bro. He's like, I want you to be my manager. And I'm like, huh? Like, manager? Like,
you know what to do.
Yeah. And he's like, bro, I swear. He's like, this is real. You know what I'm saying? So we went and met with the label, and they cut a check. You know what I'm saying? They were like, yo, and then they put us on tour. You know what I'm saying? Like, they put us on the Street Dreams tour with Jeezy, Jim Jones, Fat Joe, Lil Wayne, Birdman,
like world, like
yeah.
I mean, country tour, like
cities. Well, we did the East Coast, so we were all over Northeast to the Midwest. I mean, we did a good maybe 30 dates, something like that.
Who was that artist?
Semi. Yeah, you don't remember Semi?
Oh yeah,
yeah, Semi.
Semi got out like that.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. So and they had us on a tour bus and everything, bro. Like, so like I would be on the bus, man, and like the promoter would come on the bus because the label owner was also the promoter for the tour. So he'd come on the bus and count money, bro. Like. I'm sitting there like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember when I did that. I remember when it wasn't this easy though.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, so I was like really intrigued by that. You know what I'm saying? I just started picking his brain and asking him questions, and just started learning the business side of it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, we went on that tour, and then as soon as we got off that tour, they put us on another tour called the Price of Fame tour, which was like Bow Wow, Huey, Crime Mob, Jibbs, Sammy, all those guys that were popping at that time. And we were recording with a lot of these guys, getting records and stuff. And then one day the studio got raided by the feds. and they took
Damn.
everything.
Murder Inc.
Yeah,
style?
they took everything, bro. And the artist was like, "Yo," he's like, "I'm done, man. He's like, I don't feel like trying to rebuild." And he ended up getting a wife and had kids and stuff. And
that's where that ended, right?
So that ended. And
The tour
and
life.
stuff.
But you got to see all the promotion and the working behind the show,
all
and
of it,
behind the this and that.
And I was involved in all of it. Like when we were hitting each city on tour, I was calling the radio stations and everybody lining up interviews and stuff like that. So like I was just building, man. And like we would be on the bus and I would hear someone be like, "Yo, Jeezy needs waters." Or Lil Wayne needs some, cigars or whatever. I'll be like, "Yo, I'll go get it for him." You know what I'm saying? And I go give it to him, and then by the end of the tour, like I would start bumping into his road managers and shit, and they would remember me. You know what I'm saying? They were, "Oh, what's up, bro? Like, you want to smoke one on meet us on the bus next." You know what I'm saying? And so I just started establishing relationships and contacts, and then from there, ended up somehow Brian Dees ended up seeing what I was doing with like the street team shit and promoting and stuff, and he reached out to me and was like, "Yo, man, you wanna do street team for Concrete Magazine?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
And where was Concrete at that point?
What do you, like? The office?
No, the like the magazine. Like who was like when you came in? Who was on the cover? Because we all know covers.
The first issue I ever worked with Concrete Magazine, I want to say, was Cashville Ace Rip.
Blue?
No,
was it a Blue magazine?
No. It was the DJ cover. It was the one with all the DJs on it.
Oh yeah, it
had everybody.
Dola White, Scooby,
DJ Whitey,
yeah,
Rage,
oh, wow,
Christ,
names,
had exactly.
Wow.
C-Wiz, Bryant D, all of them. I think that was my first issue that I started working doing street team.
I remember that because my homie DJ Tommy Wong was in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then from there, I was like, I just kept having more. I was like, bro, how can I make some more money? You know what I'm saying? And because I was trying to stay off the streets, you know what I'm saying, and not trying to go back and do that shit. And he's like, bro, I'll give you the opportunity to sell ads. I can sell ads, like fuck yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I started selling ads and making money off that. And then I was like, bro, can I throw some events using the Concrete name?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, do it. And
like blowing up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, my bad, man.
Oh, I can edit that out.
I gotta pick my daughter up from school.
Edit that first.
but yeah, nah.
Are you good on time?
Yeah, I got a couple more minutes, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I ended up going from there and then just start throwing events using the name and building the brand, and then Brian eventually was like decided to step down, man. I think that was like 2012.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and I took over as publisher.
What was the Concrete event you guys had at the Rutledge? The anniversary party?
The
one I couldn't get in? This was before I worked with you in Concrete. Was it the anniversary party?
Yeah.
It was like a 4-year anniversary?
Was it? Nah, it wasn't 4 year.
No?
Nah, it was way longer than that. It might have been like 5 or 6 years.
It was like a 5-6 year.
Yeah.
It was a big
because Young Buck showed up and
choked some dude.
No, he got choked.
Oh, he got choked?
Or he punched the security guard and the security guard choked him. Something like that. And then all hell broke loose because he had like a fucking 1,000 people with him.
I couldn't get in.
Yeah.
I was outside.
That shit was crazy. It was a line.
Little Goonie and his producers, they were like, "Yeah, let's go to the party." And I was like, "Dope." Yep. Like, we'll go in. And we get to the door and they're like, "Not capacity."
Over capacity. That shit was, I don't know why we did it there. That was the dumbest shit ever.
But the Rutledge was dope, though.
Yeah, it was. But it only held like 250, bro. And we had like 400 people in there.
And then Buck beat everybody up.
And then, that's it, though, man. Like, that was the process, bro.
Wow.
And then from there, just, dealing with artists and growing and finding artists that have the same mind state and mindset as me as far as wanting to grind and hustle and have the talent and then still doing the shows, but doing them in a different capacity as far as like instead of doing just like one-offs, doing like single events, it's more of like organizing tours now.
Yeah.
Multiple dates and shit like that. You know
So
what I'm saying?
is that with concrete or is that with something else?
Everything's with concrete now. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing that I don't do that I don't include concrete in is like when I'm doing like consulting and stuff for artists. Like that's my personal stuff, brand. But I mean, at the end of the day, like when it comes to taxes, you know what I'm saying? Like the shows, that all goes under IUM promo.
And this I want to keep this episode mostly about you.
Okay.
Like I mean, something else we can get into concrete and all that, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know how that works. I just want to keep it more about you.
For sure.
So yeah, so I just want asking questions. How you got on? You know what I mean? And we just did some dope events, and I don't know how you hook up with everybody and get all the hookups, but is that how you did it? All this?
I don't know, bro. Like,
Or is it
it's just
through concrete? Like,
some of it is through concrete, you know. Some of it, and I'll definitely give credit to that. Like, a lot of it was being able to get in the door and being like, "Yo, I want to interview this artist."
Yeah.
For the magazine, and then establishing that relationship and hitting them back and being like, "Hey, bro, I know we did the magazine, but what do you think about doing a tour? Or what if I booked you to come into town?"
And I've seen it. I've actually seen that happen.
Yeah,
like
multiple times.
We've done. It was the last tour you did, Bun B.
Bun B.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we started out just interviewing them.
Yeah. Well, actually, I waited till the end to interview him because we did multiple dates with him, but I knew if I would have did the interview like up front, it would have probably been.
No, I meant like you working with.
Oh yeah.
You started out like, hey, magazine,
do business.
Hey, do this, and then
well, actually, I did it the opposite way with him because we did business first, and then I incorporated the magazine. And that's a lot of times that's what I'll do is like sometimes a little secret is like it's hard to get interviews sometimes, so I'll spend money with them by booking them and doing a show and then putting it in the contract like, yo, if I pay you $5,000 to come do this concert, can you also include an interview? You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, yeah, fuck yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Oh, I'm gonna try that.
Go ahead, do it. Do it. I ain't knocking it. You know what I'm saying? It works.
It's just you that run concrete? Or, I mean, besides like the photographers and editors, it's just you. Like, you're in charge now.
Yeah. Yep.
What's Brian do?
Brian designs the magazine.
Still loves that design.
Yep.
That's right.
So he designs it. I send him everything over.
You took over the reins of like the number one, like Tennessee, not just Nashville. This shit's like Tennessee.
Yeah.
And the Southwest, Southeast. My
Southeast.
bad.
Yeah,
Southeast. I went the wrong way. But yeah, so you took that over, and that's huge.
Yeah. It was big, man, and I definitely thank Brian all the time, man, for it, man. Like it definitely, he believed in me when no one else did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of people didn't. I was one of those guys that like. I was going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people thought that, and a lot of people seen it, and a few people in my corner were always like believing in me and telling me I could do better.
Right.
But Brian seen something in me as far as my hustle and shit, and was like, I think you got it, man. I think you got what it takes to take this over. And he wanted to start a different business anyway.
But do you do that? Do you do that same concept of helping someone out, like believing in someone? Because you do that with me.
Do I do it with you?
Yeah, because you gave me a chance when nobody else really would.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you call me for everything. You don't have to. 30 other video guys that do it better. For sure. And you're like, hey, come shoot Bun, come shoot whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do it like that because, like, I appreciate you and you're the homie. You know what I'm saying? But it's like also it's the fact that I see genuine. You enjoy this shit. Like you have a passion for the culture, you know what I'm saying? Like, and whatever it is, it's like, I would rather deal with someone that's passionate about the culture and excited about the culture, and wanting to see it grow than to do someone that's just got talent and can come out and do a dope ass video, but don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, we'll take that memory away, me and you together, and laugh about it later. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember when we did that shit and fucking we could barely hear him, and you know what I'm saying? Dude, his manager kept coming in saying wrap up, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, those are memories, you know what I'm saying?
Or the Mob Deep.
Oh, yeah, the Mob Deep shit, you know what I'm saying? Like
most
when fucking
mundane green room.
Oh, that was weird. That was weird.
You were playing Space Invaders.
Yeah.
High as hell.
And then Prodigy was like, I was like, you guys get pulled over too? Or you guys get pulled over?
Oh, that's right. They
got pulled over by like SWAT.
ATF got them.
And
after the interview, we did the interview
after
and
the
then went to
interview.
the venue.
Yeah, and then remember he goes, Prodigy goes, what, you guys didn't?
Yeah.
And I was like, like we set him up or so. I was like, what do you mean? What, you guys didn't get pulled over? I was like, nah, bro. It ain't like that, dog. Like, we had nothing to do with it. We took a left. Remember, everybody turned right.
Where did Tavel go?
They all went right. They all got pulled over.
Tavel, Steven,
High Def, all that. They all got pulled over.
That was before he was High Def.
Yeah, that was before that.
They all got hit by that.
It was funny is like I shot a video with him recently, and he mentioned, he's like, man, remember when we got pulled over?
You're like, I mean, we were at the venue.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I didn't get pulled over. Y'all got. He's like, yeah, that shit was crazy, but it's just funny, man. Like memories of all the different times. Like we've had some crazy ass run-ins, bro.
We'll definitely have to push on that on a Nashville edition of this.
Yeah, fuck
yeah. So that's where you at, huh?
Yeah, that's where I'm at now, man.
Right now, like right now. Besides, right here, in the best. In the best podcast possible.
Hey, flock with us. I'm just living dad life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm enjoying. I got 4 little girls. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm enjoying that.
5 including the wife.
I'm not gonna say that. Don't get me in trouble. But nah, I'm enjoying.
I said that. He didn't say that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying being a dad and a husband and living the family life and just creating, man.
The straight life.
Yeah.
So
I've never slept better in my life, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I tell everybody, man, like anybody that's in the streets or involved in any kind of shady activity, bro, like eventually that energy will circle back and get you, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you can do that shit, you can apply that same energy into something that's legitimate.
Not gonna get you.
Yeah, that's not going to get you 10, 15 years in prison, you know what I'm saying, away from your family. Because that's what I did, bro. Like, I took the same mentality. It's all numbers. That's all it is, man. It's like, that's all I did, man. I remember I spoke to Russell Simmons, and he was like, I asked him, what's your key to success? He said, exercise your resources. He said, you don't understand that, then you don't need to be in this business. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
And I got home, but I went home. I wrote a list of everybody that I did business with and that I knew that did services and how they offered them. And then I started offering those services to other people and playing the third party and just making my money that way. And then it eventually grew into other shit. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's just like, stop using the excuse, like, this is all I know, dog. Like, This is where we are. I ain't got no chances.
Straight life.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like, stop that shit, bro. Like,
yeah,
think
especially
bigger.
coming from an international street hustler.
Yeah, well, I mean, my thing is, like, it's not easy, you know what I'm saying? But think more of yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, believe in yourself. Have some faith and be like, yo, like, I don't need to do this shit. Like, there's other ways to get it. And if you're smart, you'll put that money away and invest it in something that'll keep getting you money instead of just constantly reinvesting in fucking dope. You know what I'm saying?
That's a nowhere.
Yeah.
Just wasting time. I guess, there's people that want to do that, though.
Yeah, I mean, and those
just keep them
more
away
power
from
to
us.
them. You know what I'm saying? Like, people need drug dealers too. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't mad at that. Everybody needs to go buy their weed somewhere. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
So-
if everybody quit, like, damn, that would suck.
So, great son, terrible criminal, even worse dope dealer.
Hey man, I made some good money, bro. So I ain't gonna say that.
Well, these are the jobs you had.
Yeah.
You you made good music too, but you're not a rap artist
Exactly.
right now. So
No, true.
you
Facts.
were good son,
Okay.
good brother. Obviously, the
I don't know about good son because I caused a lot of trouble, but yeah.
now
loving son, yes.
loving.
yes.
Okay, loving son.
Yep.
Good brother.
Yeah.
Funny brother.
Yeah.
Terrible criminal.
Yeah. I can say that.
Right. No longer a rap artist.
No longer a rap artist. No.
And moving on to promotions and bigger things and dad life.
Yeah, yep. Moving on to dad. I mean, I'm dad life and husband
Always.
is like family life. That's every day, all day, never turns off. You know what I'm saying?
And I've sat there and talked with you about dad stuff, family stuff, because my kids are a lot younger than yours.
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah.
I know your youngest was just
I got 3. I got a 3-year-old.
3-year-old.
That's my youngest.
Right. But I remember talking to you and be like, yeah, I got 2 now, and you're like, yo, I I got 3. This is before she was born.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's rough. And you're like, hey, man, Tony's got like
He had
7.
4.
8. Yeah.
No, he got 4.
He got like, it's like
Yeah.
tribe. And it
Yeah.
just kept growing and growing.
Both of us. And that's, yeah. So, I mean, my brother's got 6. And it's like, dog, we got, yeah. It's beautiful, though. It's a big family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have it no other way, man.
So all that led you here. That's great. I love that.
Yeah. Yep. And then now, you know, I'm doing more of like label servicing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the overall objective, is like building a company to where I can service for labels and stuff. They'll come and hire me, and you know, like you see what I'm doing with radio and stuff, like getting artist interviews on XM radio and taking them to New York to Premier Records. And like I just set up a media run for Don Tripp and you know, and just like other artists, like independent artists that I'm servicing as well. But eventually that's the goal, is to be able to take a label and say, look, man, like we have all these services, hire us, cut the check. I'm going to take your artist on tour. We're going to do 15 dates, and every city we're going to do media, and we're going to build your artist.
So are you going to hit the road?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all I do,
So
bro.
back to it.
Yeah.
Back to hitting the road. I like
I
that.
don't mind. I would love to
That's
grind,
okay.
bro. I'm addicted to this shit.
Bro,
dog.
as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go eat some chicken and go to sleep.
Cry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
nah,
night.
I'm addicted to it, man. That's where I'm at, but I appreciate it, bro.
No, that's good. Thanks for coming on, man.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you having me, even thinking about
you
it.
got to come back, though, for the like we're going to talk everything Nashville and hopefully not get in trouble. Because if anyone could hear our phone conversation.
Oh my God, yeah,
Like
the
it's
real shit.
And, you know,
This is a little bit edited.
This is very. I didn't know it was gonna be this. I thought it was gonna be like, don't say that.
Yeah,
Like I thought it was gonna be bad. Like, you know, like we talk on the phone. or
yeah.
something, but
Well, I don't think either one of us really went that direction, so
No,
it's cool.
but I can make fun of just everyone I know,
I could
and that's
too.
that's what we. That's the fun part. That's that's our personality.
That's the phone calls.
I
That's the phone
appreciate
calls.
that. Thanks for
No
coming
doubt,
on, man.
no doubt, man. I appreciate you. Let's get it.
Yeah. Don't you owe me some money?
Don't you owe me some money?
What? Always a video.
Tat. What the
Whoa,
fuck,
whoa,
man?
whoa, whoa.
That's it.